morning together, but for a long time. So I'm going to try to bring it home, not get between you and lunch, with something that I think we are looking for, which is what's the most high leverage thing we can do to accelerate this incredibly building movement, and how do we do that? I would propose, and I'm going to leave you with an invitation to those who are not already with us at American Promise. Several of you are, so thank you, to join this growing movement to amend the U.S. Constitution, as we have always done before, to systemically open the door to the kind of reform that we're talking about today. So let me say more about it quickly in 3 minutes. The meeting this morning was American Promise, the money part. We spent a lot of time talking about money, of course. But let's be clear, when we're talking about money, we're talking about power, right? We're talking about power. The Crack the Code report that you have with you, that was on your seats this morning, the top 100 wealthiest among us, some of those that Chuck was talking about, have 60,000 times as much political power as everybody else. So concentrated wealth is concentrated power. It's wrong, it's dangerous, and Americans know it. That's the key. Americans know it. We saw that in Whiteville, I think, with those conversations. 7 out of 10 Americans say our democracy is under dire threat. The number one reason, 86% of those cross the partisan spectrum, no difference, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, 86% say the reason is money in politics. And people used to say, oh, well, Americans don't care about that. They might get pissed off or whatever, but they don't really care about campaign finance. 86% say it's the number one threat to our democracy. More than political violence, more than election denialism, money in politics. And you know what? They're right. They are right, whether it's exploding trains, toxic water, an economy that lurches from bailout to bailout. Americans experience this problem. They know it. Billions of dollars flow from the elite donors to political operatives to the monopolistic media companies. And what does most of that money go to? It goes to tear us apart. It goes to divide us. It goes to make us hate the other side, the enemy, whatever that might be. And so it makes solutions hard. So what do we do about it? What do we do with the billions of dollars, the dysfunctional, horribly divided system, to beat the money power threat? How do we win? How do we reform a new America? We do it how we've always done it. We go to the document, to the Constitution itself. That's what works. That's what has always worked. That's the only thing that works when you're really talking about power. And so let's look at it. Again and again, that is what the American people have done in conditions just like ours. When we exercise our right to amend the Constitution, we win. When we don't, we get where we are right now. We would have no Constitution as we know it without Americans exercising our right to amend the Constitution. No Bill of Rights, no equal protection of the laws, no right to vote for women, for people of color, for young Americans, and no, by the way, progressive income tax. That one's on there as well. We needed a constitutional amendment to get a progressive income tax. So let's not delude ourselves. It's hard. People will say, right, we're going to amend the Constitution. Sure, we don't do that anymore. All of that. But let's not delude ourselves. If we don't amend the Constitution, power will not balance itself. Never has, never will. So why do we need it? The Supreme Court has blown up the guardrails between money and power. Right? The Supreme Court has stripped Americans of the right to regulate election money, except what goes directly to the campaigns. They'll tell you, oh, there's a $3,300 limit to the campaigns. That's a joke, and most political donors know it is, and most candidates know it is. That's the tip of the iceberg. If you think about the iceberg metaphor, the dangerous part, the massive part, is under the water. Right? That's the part that's coming in from foreign entities, from global corporations, from every billionaire that wants to control Congress or the White House or your local school committee or district attorney. Without a constitutional solution, this gets much worse. So it's not an option. it's an obligation of us. It's an obligation of every American, whether Republican, Democrat, Independent, Libertarian, the one I heard this morning, hate them all. It's an obligation of every American. And fortunately, there's a place we can go. That's what American Promise was created for. We brought it together just a few years ago. It's sweeping the nation, I would say, and Americans are responding. We have a state-by-state, local, networked-based strategy that's scaling up. And 22 states have now formally gotten on board. We're driving to vote, get the vote, 2/3 of Congress, it's what we'll need, ratification in 38 states. So it's happening. And so for everyone listening today in this room or around the country, let's commit to doing what it really takes, for real, to address the clear and present danger that America faces in this battle of political money, in this battle for our right to power in this society for all of us. We Americans are more powerful than money if we realize we are not the enemy of each other. We're more powerful than money when we come together to defend the Constitution. And we are more powerful and able to realize the promise of America and lift every voice and free every American to actually have a shot at a new American dream that we can write together if we get on board this constitutional amendment, as we've always done in prior history. So join us at AmericanPromise.net, and we'll see you at lunch.